Alright, shrub crafters. I've got my Frontier Cabelas Blue Ridge. We're going to go double check, make sure it's sighted in. And this is the one I converted from percussion to flintlock with an L&R lock. So we're on our way there now, and we'll just check it. This season's getting close. Alright, so I'm just going to do a 50-yard sight in again, confirming what's going on. 6 point came out this morning, right in front of 7 yards in front of that pop-up. And I actually was creeping out there to do that, so I'll try to share some of that footage in one of these videos as we go through. And he was about 35-40 yards out. I could have made the shot from a compound bow shoot. I can do that. My pins are... Man, these GoPros for some reason just keep saving, and sometimes they stay on, sometimes they don't. So, but the I could have made the shot, except for there's some twigs in the way, and I don't want to take an unethical shot. I have lost a deer before, 2 coyotes, and it's just you know, and tracking, and so it's a sad thing to do. So the last thing I want to do is wound an animal that I can't recover. And because there were 2 little twigs, which I probably could have gone right through, and it was 35 yards, maybe tops. I say 40, but it was probably a little closer. It was an easy shot, except for when you deflect an arrow. So with that, I've got the Frontier, which I've converted to the L&R, and I'm going to grab that. We're loaded up with 60 grains of 2F GoX and Ox Creek 15 thousandths patch with a 490 ball hand cast. Now this one is loaded, ready to go. This is the L&R conversion, and you'll notice it's a little bit off here, the angle of it. It doesn't quite drop in, so I did actually have to inlet down and a little bit back here. You'll see there's a little damage where it tore out on there, not a big deal, just walnut stock. And sights, this is a marbles that I did change over at one point. And then put the, what is that? Oh, the Pennsylvania sight, which I got from Flintlocks, etc. On there. So, without any further, I'm going to go over here and lean against the tree, just like I was shooting at a deer at 55 yards, and we'll see what happens. Oh, that makes sense. You can see how fast that lock fired. This L&R is a good one. Tim from L&R hooked me up when I told him what was going on with my shitting fox there. Same thing. So that's a first shot, went bang. I actually hit high. I think I know why. It's a 490 with a patch round ball. I believe my sight, and this is why you always want to confirm things. So I either flinched really, really bad, but vertically dead center, which I tend not to believe, or it's because I'm actually sighted in for these guys, which I don't have any lube for. But we're going to shoot it anyway. Alright, movie magic. We're right back. I just dropped that down. No lube on it. I think that's a 51/100ths. And it's a 493 base. I think I measured those. Just gonna touch that. So I'm at 60 grains of powder. Now we're ready to go. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Now this LNR, and I tap it away, and you can see I'm just below full. We're ready to go. I definitely flinched on that one. I have not been practicing with this all season just because of the shoulder injuries and stuff. So I hit center just off the target, so I actually would have still hit the deer. But I don't like that, so we're going to go back, patch round ball, 60 grains, see what we got. Back to it. Here we go. Still just a hair. Still just a hair high. So I just dropped my lever one notch down. That's all I got, one. And that should put me on. So yeah, I think this is I'll be honest with you, this is one of the reasons I do these videos. I've had a few people comment, this is a worthless video with this data and all that. And I was like, yeah, well, maybe for you, but for me it's good, because when I forget what I'm doing and what charge and what gun goes where and why I'm set where I'm at, I just have to go back to the video when I watch it again. So it was actually really good. So you'll see, this is my aiming point right here, center. And this was my first shot. The 50. It's actually starting to rain on me again. This is just weird weather. But I was looking at that. Somebody actually shot my tree to dig that out. I'm wondering what round shot that. It's not today, it's old. The sap's already kind of coming through, but I just realized that. So anyway, and this was the other one, 60 grains of 2F aiming here. So I'm still a little high, so I dropped down one, and this is at 50. So backing that off, 60 grains should be good. This is why it's so important to get out and do a little bit of shooting. Just, you know, I mean, that flinch, and it's okay to flinch, but you want to be rock steady when you do. Percussion, I don't have that issue. It's just when you see a little fireball go off, and again this year with the nerve damage just kind of being so excessive, worse than actually immediately after the injury. I notice I'm flinching a little bit more than usual with this one, but it also, I mean, it's a sparker, man. It goes right off. So we're gonna load it up again. I dropped it down 60 grains, and see. I just want to get that right near there. I want to be confident, and then I'll actually go up a little bit closer, because most of my shots, as you've seen on the camera, is actually 30 to 50 yards. So we're gonna load it up and see what happens. And again, 2F, 60 grains, 15 thousandths ox yoke, 490 ball, GoX 2F. But yeah, it's this is why it's important to get out here and do this. Now, I am actually going to probably be hunting with my 54 percussion, so the flinching aspect will probably go away. And one cool piece of advice, when I first got my flinch lock, I actually put a piece of wood. I went out and got a little sliver of wood and put it in the jaws, and you use that to hit the frizzen to get used to the pulling, because there is actually especially these L&Rs or some of these bigger locks, you actually feel it when it flicks forward. There's a little jerk to it, and it's really that push-pull into the shoulder and getting your arm position right is actually very important to try to do. So yeah, it's definitely, they do take practice. I mean, again, back in the old days when we look at Jim Bridger and Jedediah Smith and the Mountain Men and Leverett and Johnson and all the others, if they weren't running percussion and they were doing flinch locks, that was their only gun, and that was their gun to survive with. And with us, we get to bounce around with all sorts of different ones, but it is what it is, and you want to eat, you get good at it. So those that weren't good at it paid somebody to do it for them. Yep, that did it. We're just left to center. And this is the importance of practice, like anything. So we're going to do one more. It's going to confirm for me that I am on. I don't know, like some of you guys, if the importance of practice is very, 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 very much needed. I'll tell you, for the convenience of this property, in terms of the volume of deer that I have coming and going, I sure would love to live in a place with no planes going overhead. And as dreams change, obviously it's nice with my injuries to be close to a hospital, doctors, but not wanting to be there. I'd much rather be healthy, but yeah, Maine, go hunt in Maine, but I don't think you still can't hunt on a Sunday in Maine. And it is fun, but it is nice being nearby my house. Our old property, it took me an hour and 15 minutes to get there. So whenever I got deer, we'd process them up and quarter them and everything, or hang them, and we'd still have to truck all the way home. So one of the dreams that's always been there is, exactly what we're doing. It's taken years to get here. Is it perfect? Yeah, it's a little smaller than I want. Because sadly, 45 acres, while it sounds like a lot, which it is, I have a property line there, a property line here, houses, you know, further that way, and a couple houses back that way, surrounded by 60 acres over there. But it's all built up, and it eventually will keep getting built up. So we'll see. In the meantime, again, one more patch round ball, see what happens. Yep. Well, there you have it. This gun is a sparker and a shooter. I may hunt with this one. I would like to get something with that 54 that was made and given to me. This one's already got a deer last year before, I don't know. But yeah, that conversion. And if you look back in the previous videos, the reason I did this was because the original Pedersoli lock, the fly snapped off twice, and I sent it out to Lee Shaver, and he fixed it. I did it a second time, or I didn't send it out the second time. I sent it out the one time. But yeah, I mean, this one is awesome. You can see, I mean, big chunks coming out of that flint, though. I'm going to change that flint out. I actually have a piece of hog lining that I got for some leather for lining, so I put that in. It actually holds really good, super thin, but holds it rock solid. Now, in terms of this, if I was going to load up and go hunting, the only thing I would do is get a little finer piece down inside of there, swab it out, and I would run that black powder hoppies patch and lube solvent down in there, clean it up, swab the crap out of it, and make sure it's dry. But as long as that touch hole is good, you know, like today, if it was muzzle loading season, I would load this right back up now, just as is, load it up, and get ready to send it, because we are on. But you can see that frizzing. You know, it's actually got some chunks coming out of there, so that, you know, geometry, it's good. I mean, it's shaving, it's doing exactly what it's doing. It's relatively even across dead center. So yeah, I mean, overall, this one is much better than it was. And the percussion worked well. She's got some dings, dents, scratches, and whatever. But again, got her in 2013. And yeah, you guys might enjoy this. So I struggle. People name their guns, and I struggle with guns. But I'm a big Fenimore Cooper fan, and I know some people, and that whole, if you're not familiar, Mark Twain, 80 years later, 70 years later, ripped apart Fenimore, saying he was a terrible writer. But you know what? He's one of the first writers in America, period, the end. Fantasy stories about life on the frontier. He was out of Cooperstown, New York, you know, with his family. So one of my favorite books in the whole series is The Deer Slayer, which was the last book written to kind of tie it all together. And I really enjoyed that. And he had Hetty and Judith were the sisters. And Hetty, kind of the plain, uglier girl, you know, not ugly, but more plain. And so this one became Hetty. Hetty Hutter. And Judith is the other one. And I suck at naming guns, but Hetty. And so Hetty was the first one to get a deer on this property. And that was using the Thompson Maxi 325 grain when she was a percussion. And put a big giant hole on that. Who knows if it's actually recording? I see a battery symbol, and I was waiting for it. Let me check the back. I think it is still recording. So anyway, this is Hetty. Judith is the other one, and paid $4.99 back when Cabela's first switched these over in 2013 to these weird blued barrels that are not browned anymore. Yeah, I mean, it's been a good gun. Again, the sight on the front is a little more off to the set, and the rear is offset. This barrel, I told you, had a little bulge in there, but it does shoot consistent. So let's go for, while we're doing this, let's just go down and take you for a spin. Take you for a spin. I may actually leave that in the video. Somebody commented on my last video that they hate the sound of the mic hitting or something. These are the GoPro housings. There is no mic. So as I'm walking through the woods, the camera housing itself on that tripod might be making a little bit of squeaking noise and some crunching noise. It is what it is. I'm not investing thousands of dollars in this. I mean, this does nothing for me monetarily wise. I mean, so this is just kind of me doing my thing. So I'm not going to invest heavily in mics and things. So if you want that, you'll have to send them to me. Here we go. Point of aim was here. That was the first one. That was the second one. So, I mean, that's, you know, finger width apart between the two in the aim. So I will take that. So again, right now, if I was going to hunt with this, that was 55 yards. That's going to be my limitation for myself with this gun. Just because, you know, I can't hold that tighter right now. You know, that's what I was talking about, some of the ethics and morals of how you hunt. Would I take a 60-yard shot? Sure. Would I take a 100-yard shot with this gun? Nope. It just shows you what, you know, where I'm at capability-wise. You know, and that was sitting down, you know, unsupported, on my knees type of thing. So, you know, what is that, the Slav squat? I just need a pair of Adidas and we're good to go. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. And next weekend, is it next weekend? Or is it this week? Next weekend opens up muzzle. So I'm excited. 54 is all set. This one's all set, and my other one's all set. So we're golden. So, but that just shows you the importance, remember, of why you check your guns, why you check your gear, double check your notes, keep good notes so that you can remember it. So on this one, I came down one notch on the rear, and that's the lowest setting now. And so if I want to go back to that 275 grain or 325, I got to look at my notes. I go one notch up, and that would explain why I have that giant difference of point of aim for that. So shooting that heavier bullet, it's going to be on that one notch above. All right, thanks for watching.